Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. It's been a little bit since we had a video out there. Been a crazy week vehicle wise, and a couple tools went down this week in the shop, but it's Saturday and we're just going to take it easy and work on this sawmill a little bit. And as you know, if you've been following along, I've got a lane number 1 rack and pinion, and there is the rack gear, and you can see it has 6 areas right here and here, right, 2 down there and 2 down here, so there's 6 bolts per rack. And if you remember, that's what the bolt looks like. I was able to salvage one decent one from what I had. There was a lot missing and there was a lot corroded. So these are 7/16 diameter. Some of them are, you know, it's a weird shape. A lot of them I think were handmade, so they range anywhere from, you know, 7/16 to almost a 1/2 inch, and a lot of differences there. The hole, I'm able to get a piece of 1/2 inch stock in the hole there, and we're going to take this piece of 1/2 inch bar. This is a 1144 steel. I like making bolts out of 1144 and U-bolts and things like that. And we're going to forge a head on there to look just like that one. And this morning I'm fooling around with how much I need to leave to make a decent head. And I'm going to let the head kind of overflow out of the die and then trim it on the disc sander. That way I can get a precision fit that way. It's kind of difficult to get it exactly right and have everyone come out forged perfectly. So we're going to kind of let the flash hang over the die, and then we'll go over to the sander and tune them up a little bit. So let me go over to the machine. I'll show you the finished dies that I made. Yeah, it might be hard to see in there, but what I did was I had the dies we made last time, and then I added a piece of I milled out a piece of 1/4 inch material, the size of the bolt head, and I welded it onto the dies. That way if it gets worn out or anything, I can change it, or I can build it up with weld, or do whatever I have to do. But maybe I'll try and set the camera up and maybe you can see the die better in operation. But that's what's happening on this machine here. And again, let me give you a shot of it. This is an old Ingersoll forging machine, and it takes an incredible amount of air. We don't have the big compressor set up with it today, just using the little one. Like I say, we're just kind of playing around. We're not going to do a production run today. We're just trying to get, you know, a handful of them consistent so that we know we got the size right, and that's what I'm doing now. So I'm just heating these up with the rosebud torch. I don't have a bunch of them kind of soaking in the forge or anything yet. Like I say, I've got 18 pieces of rack, and there's 6 bolts per rack. What's that, 108? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, about 108 bolts we got to make. So just want to dial it in today so that when I'm ready, I could just set up the saw, cut all the pieces, and then get the forge going. And while one's heating, I could be forging another one. So let's try one out and see what happens. Anything can happen. I don't know what's going to go on here. And like I say, we're fooling around with the amount of stick over. Might be too much, might be too little for the head, but we're going to find out. So let me get this set up on a tripod or something so you can see it in action. Okay, I'll be right back with you, and we'll put a hot bar in there. Okay guys, we're getting a bar heating. It's going to get kind of noisy. This thing takes a lot of air, and you're going to hear the air noise, and then the hammering's kind of going to get a little crazy, so it's super difficult to do everything and get the camera working at the same time. So there may be some dead space here or something, but just bear with me. We'll get one set up in there. Try and turn the camera on at the right time, or just leave it rolling. I don't know what's going to happen, but hang in there, and we're going to get a heated bar in there. Okay guys, I made a couple of them there. It's extremely hard to do filming and doing it, but I hope you saw how they were made. And there's one with a little bit more stick out than this one. It's kind of hard to see. We're going to go over to the disc sander now, and we're going to kind of true that up. And I did one of them already. And it looks like that. I think you can see that okay. It's just like the other one. And it's going to fit down. Fit down in there perfectly. And when you tighten it up, that'll get pulled down nicely. And the wheel can slide by it with no trouble here when it's running on the wheels. And that's what we want for a bolt. So let's head over to the disc sander. I'll show you how we get there. Okay, we're over at our Oliver 30-inch disc sander. That's a double disc sander. And we're just using one side right now. And I'll turn that on and we'll kind of true up this bolt. And I think you can see in there. Okay. Okay guys, I hope you can see that okay. Here's our finished bolt. It's got the little parting lines in there like the original one when they made it. And that's going to work out fine. It's going to go down in here. And get you in there. Going to go down and fit right in our slot right there. And like I say, we just got to make about 108 of them. And that's how we get the head on it. Now I'm going to take you out and I'll show you how we get the threads on the other end. Okay everybody, this little structure here is what I call my thread shed. I had some leftover steel, so I built this little trailer, and then I didn't know what to do with it. And it's not real pretty. Had some doors left over from another job. That's what I use for siding. A little recycled tin for the roof. And inside there, got our threading machine. We'll jump in there and I'll show you how we're going to thread those bolts now. After all, bolts no good without any threads on it. And we could do it on a lathe, but it just takes a while. So, here's some of my larger threaders. Got an old mule for running those threaders there, some pipe stands, and there's our 535 Ridgid threader. And I've got that set up today with some half 20 dies. That's what we're going to put on our bolts. And this is about the fastest way I know to put threads on something. I make a lot of U-bolts for old antique vehicles and stuff, and I thread them in here real quick and then bend them into the U-shape. And fastest way I've figured out how to do it. So here's our bolt, remember, and we'll get that chucked up. The originals had about 1.25 inches of thread on there, and we're going to match that. We'll put about 1.25 inches of thread on there, and it'll give us plenty of room to put the nut and washer on and stuff. So let me try and get one of these chucked up, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, this is kind of a noisy machine, and we're going to start it, make sure we got oil flow, and we're just going to engage our die into the stock and give it about 1.25 inches of thread, throw the lever, and it'll move the dies out and we'll be all set. Let me see if I can get this all on film for you. No, we're having trouble with the power. Let me go see if I knocked the plug out. Hang on. Okay, there's our finished bolt. And we'll go make sure we got the thread right. We'll put a nut and stuff on there and check that out back in the shop. I'm going to thread a couple more and then meet you back in the shop. Okay everybody, we'll be back in here when we do that 108 or so of the bolts we got to do, but that's just a preview of how it's going to go. And nice having the shed on wheels here. That way when I'm threading for the steam engine at the sawmill, I can bring it right out there, or doing gas piping in the house, I can bring it right there. And it's just nice having it on wheels because I'm always threading something. So just take a small generator, pull the shed out where I'm going, and we've got everything we need. Fittings, wrenches, and the threader right in there. And if I'm doing U-bolts in the shop, it's right here. So we'll be back again and show you when we do the rest of them. But let's head in the shop right now and make sure we got that thread dialed in right. And we'll try a nut on there and measure it out and see what we got. Okay guys, and when we stick it through our rack here, it's going to go through our 6-inch box tube, that steel box tube, and then it's going to get a flat washer, lock washer, and let's just see how that nut goes on there. Beautiful. When you get those dies set up just right, you can, that's a perfect fit. When you get the dies set up, you can just repeat it, you know, one time, 1,000 times, whatever. Just make sure the oil's flowing on it, and the threads will come out perfect every time. That's much faster than working it on the lathe. And like I say, when we gear up and we do all of them, it'll be like a production line. We'll forge all of them, then we'll head over to the sander and we'll profile all of them, and then we'll just sit there in that at the threader and put the thread on. So there's our original, which was shorter because they used 5-inch material and we're using 6. That's why it's that much shorter. But we've got the same amount of thread on there, and we've got the correct length bolt. and that's going to get our rack down there nice and secure. And with the rack nice and secure on the steel, you won't have any, you won't start wearing these teeth with the pinion. If that's kind of shucking around, I've got a few pieces from another sawmill that I needed to extend mine, and some of the teeth were worn, and you could see on the wood that it was on that this was moving back and forth when it was moving a heavy log. So that's why we're going to put bolts in every single location, and we're going to lash this down real good to the steel, and it should last for quite a few generations. Alright guys, that's all we got today. And if you like the videos, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, send me a comment, let me know what you think. And we'll be back on that CJ3A next week. I finally got some parts in to finish up the front and rear end, so those are going to happen next week, and we'll get back on that CJ3B body build for that welder Jeep. I've got some things happening there too. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, and we'll move on to the 3A next week.